Hi, I'm Mrs. Bailey. I'm here to talk to you all about the GCSE in photography that we offer here at Sandbach High School and Sixth Form College. We use the exam board AQA, and the coursework makes up 60% of the course, whilst the exam makes up 40%. During your time on the course, you'll be able to experience traditional photography techniques using our darkroom. Here you can see some really lovely photogram work and also some exciting portraiture work that's been produced using darkroom techniques. We also have a studio space, and we actively encourage our students to use this space to produce exciting work. Examples here show light photography and some really lovely portraiture work using coloured gels in the studio. You don't need to have your own camera. You can book them out from us, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later on. So as well as traditional techniques, we also encourage our students to use digital and hand manipulation techniques. And we're very fortunate to have industry standard software in the form of Photoshop at our disposal to create our exciting photographs. Here you can see a range of work's been produced using Photoshop, but also using hand manipulation techniques as well. So over the 2 years, you can see how the course takes shape. You get 5 lessons every 2 weeks, and we encourage you to use the department at lunchtime and after school in order to complete your coursework. The controlled test time, which is the exam time, that actually takes place in your classroom rather than the main hall. And in the mock exam and in the real exam, you get to decide on the question, the artist that you look at, and the type of work you want to create. And we think this is a real bonus of our course. You get to choose what you would like to do, and it allows you the freedom and the self-expression to follow your own interests. So we mark work using 4 assessment objectives. And whether we're assessing the coursework or the exam work, we use these 4 assessment objectives. So they are as follows. AO1, which is analytical and research skills. We look at whether students can understand and analyse artists and other contextual sources. AO2 assesses students' ability to control media and techniques, focusing on practical skills. AO3 looks at students' ability to record ideas appropriate to themes and concepts. And AO4 is the assessment of final outcomes. So the coursework itself is worth 60% of the overall GCSE grade. The coursework starts on your very first lesson in year 10. You produce 2 projects during year 10. These projects will allow you to develop a range of skills, and you develop understanding of a range of techniques and processes. You then have a mock exam in year 11 with 5 hours to complete a final outcome, giving you a taster of what the real exam is going to be like. You then have 9 to 12 weeks to complete prep work for the examination phase, which I'll talk about more next. So the exam itself is worth 40% of the overall GCSE grade. You get between 9 and 12 weeks to complete the prep work, and then you have 10 hours to complete your final outcome. So your 10 hours takes place over 2 days in the art department. You produce a time plan with your teacher prior to coming into that exam, so you know exactly what you need to do during this time. One-to-one tutorials help you plan and prep your examination time so that you come into the exam feeling confident. So many times we get asked what careers are out there for students once they've done their GCSE in photography. Well as having A-level photography that you can progress into should you wish to at Sandbach, there are a number of jobs available out there within the creative sector that uses photography. So you can see here lighting for animation, journalism photography, event photography, and web and app design. And as you can see down there at the bottom of the slide, creative industries are worth almost 10 million an hour to our economy. There are many jobs out there that involve photography and photography skills. So there's a little quote here from Stuart Norton, and I think he sums things up quite well there. One of the beauties of our course is the fact that we equip students with transferable skills. By the time they've completed the course, they really have been able to use their creativity to show innovation, originality, self-expression, problem solving, and all the transferable skills in relation to IT with digital manipulation as well, reinforcing those transferable skills. So 60% coursework is what you can expect from day one. 40% is the exam, where you'll have controlled test time and being expected to produce a final piece at the end of this, a conclusion, if you like, to your project. Shoots will be done in lessons, in the studio and in the dark room. You'll also be expected to do shoots in various locations in your own time, outside of lesson time. And this is where you can book out the cameras. And again, I'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Department facilities are available to you at all times during lunch and after school. And of course, teachers are available here for extra support and feedback. We have some exciting trips as well that feed into your photography course, should you wish to partake in them. And these trips have always been very successful. So from year 10 through to year 11, we'll be teaching you the theory of photography, how to use a camera. And importantly, the projects in year 10 are designed to teach you all the skills that you need to succeed in year 11. So you get lots of technical project work, which allows you to develop that important knowledge ready for you to be experimenting and exploring with independently in year 11. So who should study this subject? Well, I think sometimes it's best to hear from students themselves at this point. Here are some quotes from previous students to explain why they decided to take photography. Many of our students say that they always felt that they were creative, but they weren't necessarily wanting to show that in the typical art or fine art way. And they found that photography was a way to use those creative skills, but in a slightly different way. So here are some of the reasons that our current students chose photography. So our students really enjoy the opportunity to work practically and creatively. Lots of our students really like the fact they have that autonomy to produce work that's interesting to them, to follow their own interests in order to produce work that means something to them. And of course, it's always lots of fun. So additional information then. You don't need to have your own SLR camera. We have cameras for you to use in school. And as I said earlier, you're able to book these out and additional equipment like tripods. And you can book these out over a weekend if you wish, using our booking form system. One thing that you will need is an SD card in order to store your photographs ready to work from in lessons. And of course, these are available to purchase from all sorts of retailers, including online retailers, high street, and of course, a supermarket. So you don't have to have your own equipment in order to find success on this course. Finally, if you have any questions about this subject, please contact either myself, Mrs. Bailey, or Mrs. Mooney on the following email addresses, and we'll be more than happy to discuss any questions you might have